Texas running back Bijan Robinson is a physical running back. The kind of back who wears you down play by play, carry by carry. You love that in a runner. He doesn't get tired. You saw him at Texas. He seemed to get better as the game moved along. He's the kind of back who can also catch the ball out of the backfield, although that's not his strong suit. But he does remind me of Saquon Barkley. You pop on early Barkley tape, particularly at Penn State, and then when you looked at him in his early years with the New York Giants, he was one of those guys that just moved the chains and could rip off a 25-yard run. That's who Bijan Robinson is. If you look up the prototypical physical running back, you would see Robinson's picture next to that description. Syracuse left tackle Matthew Bergeron is a guy that a lot of scouts have disagreement on. Will he be a left tackle? Will he be a guard? Can he play right tackle? He's played right tackle in his career, but I think this is one of those players that would be better off transitioning inside to guard. I think he can be a dominant guard. He's a physical player. He'd be good in the run game. But I think if you move him inside, he's got the power, the strength to handle the big power players inside. He's not a tall tackle, which means sometimes you transition those guys inside. And if you look at the star guards in the NFL, a lot of them were college tackles and moved inside. So I think that's what Bergeron should do. Who's the comparison? Elijah Vera Tucker. When he came out of USC, he was a tackle, moved inside the guard for the New York Jets, and I think he's a guy they're counting on the big things. He got hurt last year, but he's a good quality offensive lineman. I think that's what Bergeron will be once he moves inside the guard.
Zach Harrison, the Ohio State edge rusher, one of the more consistent defenders over the last several years for that Buckeye defense. It was ranked in the top 10 consistently for the last few years. One of these guys, when you walk out on the field, I talk about the All-American, All-Uni team. He's on that All-American, All-Uni team. He looks the part, man. 6'5", 272. This is a guy who's going to be a day one starter in the NFL, depending on where he lands. I think the biggest thing that you'll notice about him is just the pure flexibility. And this is what the scouts will tell you. Very seldom can you find a guy that's flexible enough, both in a penetration style defense, but also gap control. So whatever defense that the coordinators decide to put him into and around, he can flex those skills, which is a unique skill set, which is why this guy's going to get paid. I would consider him in terms of a comp very similar to Yetur Gross-Matos, the 2020 NFL draft pick.
Clark Phillips III, 5'10", 183. Stretch, all of that. Don't look at anything measurable related with Mr. Clark. Just turn on the tape. One of my favorite corners in this draft. Here's why. Change of direction is phenomenal. Quick feet is phenomenal. Locating the football is outstanding. If you don't know who he is, just go back and watch what he was able to do against Oregon State. A beautiful coaching clinic Mr. Clark was able to put on display for all of us. I love how he plays the game in press technique and off technique. He can be a nickel guy or he can be an outside guy as well. The versatility is there with Mr. Clark Phillips. And one thing I love about youth in the secondary, they know how to develop talent. The notable NFL player comp for Mr. Clark Phillips, no other than a former youth, Jalen Johnson, talented corner for the Chicago Bears.
DeMarco Hellums, safety out of Alabama, plays a lot like Marcus Demps. His teammate for Alabama safety Jordan Battle got most of the pub during the 2022 season, but Hellums quietly had a very good fall campaign. At 6'0", 213, he's an imposing presence when he comes downhill and run support, and he's always looking for something to hit. And while he's not a burner, he ran just a 4.57 at the combine. He has the ability to cover tight ends and running backs on vertical routes, though his lack of deep speed does show up on tape. And while he played deep center field for the Crimson Tide, his future will be closer to the line of scrimmage where he can best utilize in run support and as a coverage option on underneath routes. And what Hellums lacks in athleticism, he more than makes up for with want to. He is a play through the whistle guy who will make his bones on special teams to begin his NFL career.
South Carolina's Javon Guinn is an experienced player within the SEC. He is likely destined to be a center in a wide zone blocking scheme at the next level. He does a good job of getting out in space and staying engaged. At the NFL Combine, he ran the 40-yard dash in 5.12 seconds with a 1.8 second 10-yard split. He gets out of his stance quickly and blocks with good leverage, but shorter arm length allows more powerful interior defenders to dictate action at the point of attack. Guinn does a great job of absorbing contact with a thick lower body build. Guinn will likely begin his career as a backup with the hopes of one day developing into a starter. We have compared him to NFL interior offensive lineman Lamont Gaillard.
Mike Jones Jr., who out of LSU, 6 feet, 230 pounds, tremendous linebacker prospect, a guy that has that versatility of playing inside and also outside backer. He did both at Clemson, has done both over the course of his career. Now, he's a very good inside backer in terms of sniffing out the run game, can sniff it out inside and out. He does a great job in meeting the receiver and the ball carrier at the contact point with force. Now, because he's so aggressive, on the flip side of those things, he can be susceptible to play action passes and also in zone coverage. He has to work on his agility moving left to right and getting into those zone drops. But other than that, you like him as a 2-down run stuffer inside the middle of your defense. Ikenna Inuchekwu out of Rice at 6'4", 268 pounds, plays a lot like Bradley Anae when he was coming out of college. He is someone, to me, that does a great job at the line of scrimmage. When you talk about using your hands to play the run and then using your hands to disengage to get to the quarterback, that's what he does rather well. So he's going to always win that hands first battle, which is key for a defensive lineman up front. But he has to do a better job in terms of disengaging from these blocks. Sometimes he does it well, other times it's non-existent, but finding that consistency within that aspect of his game is going to help him develop even more so as a pro.